AITA for hiding my massive retirement payout after discovering my wife's divorce plans? The key turned in the lock at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. I never got home before 5. My wife did not know I was there, and that is exactly why I heard every word she said on the phone. No, Mom, I already told you. I am going to wait until the end of the year. When his bonus hits, then I will file the papers. I stood frozen in the entryway of our house in Scottsdale, Arizona. The house we bought together 12 years ago. My hand was still in my blazer pocket, my fingers gripping the white envelope from Rivertech Solutions. Inside it, a letter, an early retirement offer, $3.2 million. I had rushed from the office like an idiot in love. I hopped in the Audi, drove 23 miles per hour above the speed limit, imagining Jennifer's face when I told her. I thought about calling Mastro's, booking a table, ordering that bottle of Camus she loved, maybe finally scheduling that trip to Tuscany she had been mentioning since 2019. He will never see it coming, she continued. I recognized that tone. It was the same one she used when talking to her mother, Sharon, that conspiratorial tone of a shared secret. Brian is predictable. He works until 5:30 every day, gets home at 6, eats dinner, watches TV, goes to sleep like clockwork. My name, Brian, sounded like a dirty word in her mouth. I should have walked into the living room. I should have thrown the envelope on the coffee table. I should have screamed, cried, broken something. But I did none of that. I just stood there in the hallway, my feet sinking into the Persian rug that cost $8,000, listening to my wife of 13 years plan my financial funeral. The lawyer said Arizona is a community property state. 50% of everything. The house, the accounts, his 401k, everything. She laughed. It was a short, efficient laugh. And there is more. If I prove that I contributed to his career, I can ask for alimony. Remember when I quit my job at the gallery so he could take that promotion in Phoenix? That counts, Mom. Greg said it counts. Greg, the divorce lawyer she met at the tennis club. That Greg, the guy I greeted at the Memorial Day barbecue. The guy who drank my beer and complimented my brisket seasoning. My hand was sweating inside my pocket. The envelope was getting damp. I know. 13 years is a long time. But Mom, I cannot take it anymore. You know how he is. Always working, always tired. When was the last time we did something interesting? When was the last time he really looked at me? I looked at her every day, every morning, made coffee the way she liked it, 3 spoons of brown sugar, almond milk. I asked how she had slept, asked about her plans for the day. She always answered with monosyllables. I thought it was just exhaustion. I thought it was normal. 13 years of marriage. Things change, people settle. But this was not settling. This was calculation. The timing is perfect, Mom. December. His bonus always comes in December. He got $120,000 last year. This year should be similar, maybe more. Then I will file the papers in January, before taxes, before he spends it on anything. She did not know about the early retirement. Rivertech had offered it to only 5 senior executives. It was confidential. The company was restructuring, cutting the expensive ones, the old ones, the ones that cost too much in benefits. 18 years of service, 18 years climbing the ladder, from junior analyst to VP of operations. $3.2 million paid in a lump sum, minus taxes, would be about $2 million net, and she wanted half. No, she wanted half without knowing about the offer. She wanted half thinking it was just the house, the 401k with $300,000, the car, the savings. She was planning a middle-class divorce. She was about to win the lottery without knowing it. I just want to be happy again, Mom. Remember how I used to be? Remember when I used to paint? When I went out with the girls? Now it is just this. This house, this man, this life I built for us, the life I thought we were building together. I backed away slowly, step by step. The door was still ajar. I closed it carefully. I turned the key again, this time making noise. I slammed the door hard. Mom, he is here. I have to hang up. I heard her footsteps. Quick, anxious. She appeared in the hallway with a smile. That smile I knew. That smile I loved for 13 years. Babe, you are home early. Is everything okay? Everything okay. As if anything could be okay. I finished early today, I said. My voice sounded strangely normal. I thought we could have dinner together, do something different. Her eyes sparkled. For a second, just a second, I saw something there. Guilt? Fear? No, it was calculation again. She was wondering if I had heard anything. That is great. That is good, Brian. We have not done that in a while. She walked over, kissed my cheek. Her lips were cold. Let me just finish something here, and we will order something. How about Thai? You love that place on Camelback. I did love it. Or used to. I did not know anymore. Perfect, I said. She went back to the living room. I went to the office and closed the door. I sat in the leather chair that cost $1,200. I took the envelope out of my pocket and opened it. I read it again. Dear Mr. Brian Caldwell, we are pleased to offer you the opportunity to participate in the RiverTech Solutions Early Retirement Program. Based on your 18 years of exemplary service and your current position as Vice President of Operations, we have calculated your retirement package at $3,247,000. This amount will be paid in a lump sum subject to federal and state tax withholding. To accept this offer, you must sign and return this document by November 30th, 2024. The offer is irrevocable after this date. Sincerely, Rebecca Morrison, VP of Human Resources. November 30th. 3 weeks from now. I turned on the computer, opened an incognito window, and typed, How to Protect Assets Before Divorce, Arizona. I spent the next 2 hours reading legal sites, forums, cases, precedents. I learned that Arizona considered everything acquired during the marriage as community property. 50-50. It did not matter who earned it. It did not matter who worked. If it was acquired during the marriage, it belonged to both, but there were exceptions. Inheritance was separate property, gifts too, and funds acquired before the marriage. I learned that legal separation established a date, a line in the sand. Everything after that date was separate, everything before was community. I learned that I had 3 weeks until November 30th. 3 weeks to decide if I would sign that offer. 3 weeks to decide how to protect what was mine. 3 weeks to decide if I still loved Jennifer enough to forgive her. But she had not asked for forgiveness. She did not even know that I knew. She was in the living room, probably on her phone, probably texting Greg the lawyer. Greg, who drank my beer. Greg, who probably had a very fat contingency percentage waiting for him. I closed the browser, cleared the history, stood up, and looked out the window. Our backyard, the pool we remodeled last summer for $8,000. She said we needed it. Said she was going to use it every day. She used it maybe 10 times. The wooden deck, $15,000. She picked out every plank. The Japanese garden, $12,000. She saw it in a magazine. I paid for it all. I worked 80 hours a week, missed weekends, missed holidays, missed time. For her, for us, for this life she called just this. I opened the office door and went back to the living room. Jennifer was on the couch, phone in hand. When she saw me, she put it away quickly. Ready to order food? She asked. Actually, I said, I think I am going to go out to eat. I need to think. Her smile faltered. Think. Think about what? Work, decisions. You know how it is, Brian. Is everything okay? You are acting weird. I was acting weird. After hearing my wife plan my financial downfall, I was acting weird. I am great, I said. I will be right back. I left before she could answer. I got in the car and drove. I did not have a destination. I just drove through the streets of Scottsdale, through the wide, clean avenues, past the million-dollar homes, the golf courses, the restaurants where I took Jennifer for our anniversaries. I ended up at a bar, a place called the Rusty Spur. A real bar, no frills, no pretension. Dark wood, cheap beer, low country music. I ordered a neat Jack Daniels. I drank it in one gulp. The man next to me looked at me. He was about 60 years old. Jeans, plaid shirt, worn leather boots. Bad day, he asked. You have no idea. Woman. I looked at him. Is it that obvious? He laughed. It was a hoarse, tired laugh. It is always the woman or the job. But when a guy has that look on his face, it is usually the woman. Found out my wife wants to divorce me, I admitted. Did she have an inappropriate relationship? He asked. I do not know, maybe. It does not matter. She wants half of everything. They always do, he said, taking a sip of his beer. Let me guess. You worked like a dog, built a good life. She stayed home, spent your money, and now wants a reward for putting up with you. That was exactly it. I went through that, he continued. 15 years ago. She kept the house, the savings account, half of my 401k. I got the debt and a 1-bedroom apartment in Tempe. And you got over it. I got over it, but it took time. And money, A lot of money. I have money, I said. And it was true. I had $3.2 million waiting for me. I just needed to figure out how to keep it. Then hire the best lawyer you can afford and do not say anything to her until you have a plan. A plan. I needed a plan. I stayed at the bar until 10 p.m. I had 3 shots of whiskey. I thought, calculated, planned. When I got home, Jennifer was asleep or pretending to be. It did not matter. I went to the guest room, turned on the laptop, and searched for divorce lawyers in Scottsdale. Not the cheap ones, not the ones on billboards, the ones with offices in glass buildings, the ones who charge $500 an hour. I found one, Martin Kessler, specializing in high net worth asset protection. Perfect. I sent an email and scheduled an appointment for the next day, Wednesday, 9 a.m. Then I opened a spreadsheet and listed everything. Community assets acquired during the marriage. The Scottsdale house, $890,000 current market value, minus a mortgage of $340,000. Net equity, $550,000. My 2022 Audi Q7, $68,000. Her 2023 Mercedes GLE, $75,000. My 401k, $312,000. Joint savings account, $87,000. Joint checking account, $34,000. Rivertech stock, $156,000. Furniture and decor, $150,000. Her jewelry, $40,000. Total community assets, $1,472,000. If divided equally, $736,000 each. But that was without the early retirement. If I signed before the divorce, she would be entitled to half, $1.6 million straight to her. But what if I did not sign before the divorce? What if I waited? I researched more. I read about separate property. I read about timing. I read about strategy. The law was clear. If I received the retirement package after the legal separation, she could not touch it. It would be mine, 100% mine, but I had to act fast. Jennifer said she was going to file the papers in January, after my December bonus. She was waiting for the perfect timing for her. I needed to make the timing perfect for me. I did another search. How to file for legal separation, Arizona. I found out that either spouse could file for separation. I found out that it took about 10 days to process. I found out that the filing date established the separation date for property division purposes. I looked at the calendar. Today was November 12th. If I filed for separation tomorrow, November 13th, the process would be finalized around November 23rd. The Rivertech offer expired on November 30th. A 7-day window. 7 days where I could sign the retirement package as a legally separated man. 7 days where that money would be mine. Only mine. It was risky. If Jennifer found out about the retirement before the separation was finalized, she could contest it. She could try to prove I was hiding assets. She could complicate everything, but she did not know. And if I played it right, she would never know. Not until it was too late. I saved the spreadsheet. I closed the laptop and looked at the ceiling. 13 years. 13 years of marriage. And it had come to this. Calculations, spreadsheets, strategy. Part of me wanted to walk into the bedroom, wake her up, confront her, scream, ask why, ask when, ask if anything was ever real. But the bigger part of me, the part that heard her laugh while planning my financial ruin, wanted justice. I wanted to win, and I was going to win. I slept 3 hours and woke up at 6. Jennifer was still asleep. I made coffee, took a shower, and got dressed. Gray suit, navy blue tie. You are going to work early, Jennifer said. She was at the kitchen door, in a white robe, her hair messy. Important meeting, I said. About what? Restructuring, boring stuff. Nothing interesting. She nodded, yawned, and poured coffee. I watched her, really watched her. I tried to find the girl I met in 2011, the girl who laughed at my bad jokes, the girl who said she loved me even when I was stressed, even when I was tired, even when I was not perfect. I could not find her. I only saw a stranger who wanted half of everything. See you tonight, I said. I left before she answered. Martin Kessler's office was on Scottsdale Road, on the 20th floor of a tinted glass building. The receptionist offered me espresso in porcelain cups. Martin appeared at exactly 9, a man of about 50 years old. Impeccable gray hair, a $3,000 suit, a firm handshake. Mr. Caldwell, nice to meet you, come in. His office had a view of Camelback Mountain. Bookshelves with law books that probably no one read, framed diplomas from Harvard and Yale. "So," he said, sitting behind the mahogany desk, "tell me what is going on." I told him everything. The conversation I overheard, her plan, her lawyer, the early retirement, the 3.2 million, the timing. Martin listened without interrupting. He took occasional notes on a yellow legal pad. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. "Mr. Caldwell, I will be direct with you. What you are describing is absolutely viable, but it has risks. Big risks." "What kind of risks?" "If your wife finds out about the early retirement before the separation is finalized, she could claim concealment of assets. The judge could not only give her half the money, but also penalize you with legal fees and even additional compensation. And if she does not find out, if the legal separation is processed before you sign the retirement agreement, technically the money would be your separate property. Acquired after the date of separation, she would have no legal claim to any part of it. So what do you suggest?" Martin opened a folder and pulled out a form. "A petition for legal separation. We can file this today. The notice will be served to her in 48 hours. Processing takes between 7 and 10 days. And what if she contests it?" "She can contest the terms, but not the separation itself. Arizona is a no-fault divorce state. If one spouse wants to separate, they will separate. The only question is how to divide the assets. And as for the current assets, everything acquired up to the filing date is considered community property. That includes the house, the cars, bank accounts, your 401k. All of that will be divided equally." 70 and 30, I said. "Excuse me. She gets 70%. I get 30, and the retirement money stays with me." Martin looked at me. "You are willing to give her 70% of the community assets in exchange for keeping 100% of the retirement? She wants the house, she wants the decor, she wants the cars. She can have it all. I just want the retirement money and my freedom." He calculated quickly. 70% of 1.4 million is approximately 1 million. She would get roughly that in physical assets. You would get about 400,000 in liquid assets plus the 3.2 million from the retirement. Total, 3.6 million for you. 1 million for her. She does not know about the 3.2 and will not know until it is too late. Mr. Caldwell, I need to be clear. What you are proposing is legal, but it is in an ethical gray area. You are technically omitting information. She was omitting her divorce plans while planning to take me for everything I had. I would say we are even. Martin smiled. It was a small, professional smile. Then let's move forward. Let's. We spent the next 2 hours filling out forms. Name, address, wedding date, grounds for separation, irreconcilable differences. The most generic and truest phrase in the world. Martin said the process server would deliver the notice on Friday. Jennifer would know by the weekend. She would have 10 days to respond. And about the money? I asked. What do I do when I sign for the retirement? Open a separate account at a different bank. Do not deposit anything into the joint accounts. And for God's sake, do not buy anything big, no cars, no houses. Keep a low profile until the divorce is finalized. How long does it take? With luck, 3 to 6 months. If she contests it, it could take a year. I can wait a year. I signed the documents. Martin made copies and handed me a blue folder with everything organized. One more thing, he said as I was leaving. When she gets served, she is going to be furious. Furious people do questionable things. Protect yourself. How? Change the passwords for everything. Email, banks, social media. Install cameras in the house if you need to. Keep a record of all interactions. If she raises her voice, record it. If she breaks something, photograph it. Anything can be used. I had not thought about that. I had not thought of Jennifer as a threat, but Martin was right. Furious people do questionable things. Thank you, I said. Good luck, Mr. Caldwell. You are going to need it. I went back to the office, to River Tech, my desk, my computer, my 18 years. I looked around at the meeting room where I gave my first presentation as an analyst, the cubicle where I spent 70 hours a week in 2015, the office I got when I became a manager, the bigger office I got when I became a VP. It was all going to end. In 3 weeks, I would no longer work here. In 3 weeks, I would be unemployed. Rich, but unemployed. It was scary and liberating. Rebecca Morrison sent an email at 3 p.m. Subject, follow-up. Retirement package. Brian, just confirming you received the offer. If you have any questions, my office is available. A reminder that the deadline is November 30th. Sincerely, Rebecca. I replied 5 minutes later. Rebecca received it, reviewing the details. I will have an answer before the deadline. Brian. I did not mention lawyers. I did not mention separation. I did not mention anything. I got home at 6. Jennifer was in the kitchen making dinner. Chicken, rice, broccoli. She only cooked when she wanted something. Hi, babe, she said, smiling. Always smiling. How was your day? Normal. And yours? I went to the club, played tennis with Amanda. We had smoothies after. Amanda, the divorced friend, the one who was also planning to leave her husband. They probably swapped stories, swapped strategies. Nice, I said. We ate dinner in silence. She tried to make conversation, asked about work, about my boss, about office politics. I answered with short sentences. I did not have the energy to fake it. You are quiet today, she commented. Tired, I said. Just tired. I heard her mutter to herself. Always tired. I let it go. After dinner, she went to the living room and turned on the TV to a reality show, something about rich women arguing. I went to the office, changed all my passwords, email, bank, brokerage account, Amazon, Netflix, everything. Then I looked at the retirement offer again. Deadline, November 30th, 2024. The separation would be processed around November 23rd. A 7-day margin, 7 days where I could sign, 7 days where the money would be mine. But what if something went wrong? What if the process was delayed? What if Jennifer found out? I picked up the phone and called Martin. Mr. Caldwell, he answered. Is there a problem? The retirement deadline is November 30th. The separation should be processed around the 23rd. It is very tight. I can try to expedite it, but the system has its timelines. And if it goes wrong, then you will have a choice. Sign before and risk losing half, or do not sign and lose everything. Great choice, I said flatly. Welcome to divorce, Mr. Caldwell. I hung up. Friday arrived, the day of the notice. I left the house at 7 a.m. I did not want to be there when the process server showed up. I wanted Jennifer to receive it alone. I wanted her to have time to process it, to get furious, to call her mother, to call Greg. I went to a Starbucks on Shea Boulevard and ordered an Americano. I sat by the window and waited. My phone rang at 9:37. Jennifer. I let it ring. It rang 6 times. Stopped. Rang again. Stopped. Messages started pouring in. What is this? Are you serving me with separation papers? Call me right now, Brian. This is serious. We need to talk. You cannot do this. We have a marriage. We have history. Please call me. We can work this out. I turned off my phone. I stayed at the coffee shop until noon. I worked on my laptop. I pretended I was working. Actually, I just stared at the screen. When I got home at 5, Jennifer was waiting, sitting in the living room. The separation papers on the coffee table, her eyes red. Brian, she said when she saw me, her voice breaking. What is this? Legal separation. It is all written right there. But why? Where did this come from? I could have told the truth. I could have said I overheard her conversation with her mom. I could have thrown it all in her face, but I did not, because the truth would give her ammunition, it would give her a narrative. He heard a conversation out of context. He overreacted. He is being unreasonable. So I said, I am not happy, Jennifer. I have not been happy for a long time. But we can fix it. We can go to therapy. We can try. You have to try. This is not about trying anymore. It's about accepting that it's over. Her eyes widened. What are you talking about? Are you trying to hide money from me? You know exactly what this is about. She fell silent, calculating, trying to figure out how much I knew. If there is someone else, she started. If you found someone. There is no one, just me and you. And the fact that we are no longer good for each other. 13 years, Brian. 13 years together. And you just give up. I am not giving up. I am accepting reality. She started crying. Real tears or performance tears? I could not tell. I love you, she said. No, you do not, but that is okay. I do not love you anymore either. It was cruel, but it was true. And she needed to hear it. I spent the weekend at a residence inn on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. At night, a view of the parking lot. On Monday, I went back home. Jennifer was at her mother's house. She left a note. Staying with my mom for a few days. I need space. We need space. Please think about what you are doing. Space. She needed space to consult Greg, to plan her strategy, to calculate how much she could take from me. I used the time alone to organize documents, copies of everything, bank statements, credit card bills, property deeds. I was building my case. Martin called on Tuesday. The separation is processing well. It should be finalized by November 22nd or 23rd. And did she contest it? Not yet, but she will. Her lawyer, Gregory Summers, reached out. He wants to negotiate terms. What terms? Asset division. She wants the house, she wants the Mercedes, she wants half of the 401k, and she wants alimony. Alimony based on what? Based on the fact that she sacrificed her career to support yours. It is a common argument. It usually works. How much is she asking for? $3,000 a month for 5 years. $180,000 plus half the assets. Counteroffer, I said. She gets the house, gets the Mercedes, gets 70% of everything, zero alimony. A clean break. 70% is too generous, Brian. I can get 50, maybe 60-40. I do not want to fight, Martin. I want to end this. 70% for her, 30 for me. No alimony, no more negotiations. I can make the offer, but it is going to look weird. She is going to be suspicious. Let her be suspicious. By the 23rd, the separation will be finalized. By the 30th, I will have signed the retirement. She can be as suspicious as she wants. Martin laughed. You are cold, Mr. Caldwell. I like that. The counteroffer was sent on Wednesday. Gregory Summers called Martin on Thursday. They accepted, Martin told me. No changes. She gets the house, the Mercedes, 70% of the liquid assets. You get the Audi, the rest, no-fault divorce, no alimony. Final agreement. Too fast. She must be thinking something is off. No one gives 70% for no reason, but she does not know the reason yet. The settlement papers were prepared. Martin said I would sign on Monday, November 25th, 2 days before Thanksgiving, 5 days before the Rivertech deadline. Jennifer came home on Friday, stopped by to pick up clothes, avoiding looking at me. Are you really going to do this? She asked. Yes. Why, Brian? I deserve to know why. You know why. She looked at me, really looked at me. And in that moment I saw it. She knew that I knew, not the details, but she knew I had discovered something. Was it Sharon? She asked. Did my mom tell you something? Interesting. She was worried about a leak, not about guilt. No one told me anything. I just opened my eyes. To what? To the fact that I am not perfect? To the fact that sometimes I complain to my mom? Is that why you're doing this? No, I said. It's because you agreed so quickly to the settlement. 70% of everything. House, car, cash. You barely negotiated. She was left without an answer. It is because you think you are winning, I continued. You think I am an idiot? You think you are getting the upper hand? But maybe I am winning too. Did you ever think about that? I grabbed my suitcase, walked past her, and stopped at the door. I signed the papers on Monday. You should do the same and move on. I did not wait for an answer. Monday, November 25th, signing day. Martin's office at 10 a.m. Jennifer arrived with Gregory Summers. A man in his early 40s, cheap suit, synthetic leather briefcase, a used car salesman smile. Brian, he said, extending his hand. Greg Summers, nice to meet you. I did not shake it. Let's just sign and finish this. Martin spread the documents on the conference table. 23 pages. All the clauses, all the divisions. Settlement summary. Scottsdale residence to Jennifer Caldwell. Value $890,000 with a mortgage of $340,000. 2023 Mercedes GLE to Jennifer Caldwell. 2022 Audi Q7 to Brian Caldwell. 70% of liquid assets. Accounts, stocks to Jennifer Caldwell for $110,000. 30% of liquid assets to Brian Caldwell, $176,000. 401k divided proportionally 70-30. No alimony, no child custody, not applicable. Final and complete settlement. I signed every page. Jennifer signed. Gregory signed as a witness. Martin signed. Congratulations, Gregory said, smiling. Amicable settlements are always better. Jennifer was not smiling. She was looking at me, trying to decipher, trying to understand why I had been so generous. Are you hiding something? She said. It was not a question. Are you? I replied. I left the office. Martin followed me. The legal separation is officially processed as of yesterday, Sunday, November 24th, he said. Any asset acquired from now on is your separate property, including the retirement. Including the retirement. You have until Friday, November 30th, to sign. 5 days. 5 days. 5 days to secure $3.2 million. I went back to the Rivertech office. My office for the last time. Rebecca Morrison was waiting. Brian, she said. Have you decided? I have decided. I need to confirm one thing. If I sign today, when is the money deposited? Processing takes about 10 business days, so around December 10th. December 10th, almost 2 weeks after the separation date, well within the separate property window. And taxes? Federal withholding of 24%, Arizona state of 4.5%, a total of approximately 28.5%. You would receive about $2.3 million net. $2.3 million, all mine. Where do I sign? Rebecca smiled, opened the folder, and took out the contract. I read every line, every word, every clause. Lump sum payment of $3,247,000. Subject to tax withholding. In accordance with applicable legislation, acceptance implies termination of all employment benefits and ties. Irrevocable upon signing. I signed. Rebecca witnessed, made a copy, and gave me the original. It was a pleasure working with you, Brian. 18 years. You built a lot here. Thank you, Rebecca. What are you going to do now? I do not know. Maybe travel. Maybe start something new. Maybe just breathe. I cleaned out my office that afternoon. 18 years in 3 boxes, photos, awards, a company logo mug from 2006, manuals no one read. Colleagues walked by, said, "Goodbye, good luck, keep in touch. Let's grab a beer sometime." No one goes to grab a beer. Everyone says they will. No one does. I left at 5. Walked past the front desk, through the glass doors, through the parking lot. I put the boxes in the trunk of the Audi. I sat in the driver's seat, looked at the Rivertech building, 18 years over. I started the car and drove off. Thanksgiving was weird. No family, no Jennifer, just me and a roasted turkey from Whole Foods in a rented apartment in Tempe. I watched football, Patriots versus Lions. I did not care about the score. Jennifer texted, "Happy Thanksgiving." I did not reply. On Friday, November 29th, I received an email from Rivertech. Subject, confirmation. Retirement processing. Mr. Caldwell, we confirm receipt of your early retirement agreement, signed on November 25th, 2024. The payment of $3,247,000 is being processed and will be deposited into the registered bank account by December 10th, 2024. We wish you success in your future endeavors. Sincerely, HR Department. December 10th. 11 days. I opened a new account at Wells Fargo, in the Tempe branch. Not the same one Jennifer knew, not the same one where we had a joint account. I confirmed the bank routing with Rivertech. Everything was ready, now it was just waiting. Gregory Summers called Martin in the first week of December. She is asking about additional assets, Martin told me. What assets? Anything you might have omitted, bonuses, stocks, retirement. Tell him the agreement is signed. Everything was disclosed. There is nothing else. Brian, technically you did not disclose the retirement offer. Technically, I had not accepted the offer at the time of our separation. It was a potential asset, not a real one. It is none of her business. They might try to argue bad faith. Let them try. The agreement is signed, the separation is finalized, and the money comes later. They have no case. Martin was quiet for a moment. You thought of everything, didn't you? I had to. December 10th arrived. Tuesday. I woke up at 6 and checked the bank. Nothing. 7 a.m. Nothing. 8. Nothing. 9. Nothing. 10:15. I refreshed the page. $2,318,927.50. It was there, real mine. I took a screenshot, saved it in 3 different places, and called Martin. The money hit. Congratulations, Mr. Caldwell. You played and won. What now? Now you keep a low profile. Do not buy anything extravagant. Do not post on social media. Do not tell anyone. And wait for the divorce to be finalized. How long? 3 months, maybe 4. If she does not cause trouble, Martin added. She would cause trouble. Jennifer found out in the 2nd week of December. I do not know how. Maybe someone from Rivertech commented. Maybe she hired a private investigator. Maybe Greg had a contact. It does not matter, she found out. The phone rang at 11 p.m., Wednesday, December 18th. Jennifer was screaming. You got $3 million? Good evening to you too. Do not play games with me, Brian. You got an early retirement and did not tell me. I received a retirement package after our separation. It's separate property. It is none of your business. It is my business. We are still married. We have been legally separated since November 24th. Check the documents. You knew. You knew about the money before the separation. I did not. You are lying. Prove it. She hung up. She called again 5 minutes later. Greg said we can sue for concealment of assets. Greg can try, but he will lose and it will be expensive. You tricked me. Funny. I heard you saying something similar to your mother. Something about waiting for my bonus before filing for divorce. About dividing everything 50-50. About how predictable I was. Silence. You heard. Every word. November 12th. You were on the phone with Sharon, planning to take everything, calculating how to take half of everything. Brian, no. You have no excuse. You were ready to ruin me, ready to take everything I built, and pretend you loved me until the last second. I was confused. I was unhappy. It was not serious. It was serious enough to hire Greg. Serious enough to have a plan. Serious enough to wait for my bonus. Please, Brian, half of that money is mine. I stayed with you for 13 years. I supported your career. I deserve it. You deserve exactly what the agreement says. 70% of community assets. The house, the car. More than fair. But you have $3 million. 2.3 after taxes. And it is mine, only mine. She hung up. Gregory Summers filed a motion to contest 2 weeks later, alleging concealment of assets, alleging bad faith, and asking for a hearing. Martin responded with 20 pages of documentation, dates, timelines, proof that the offer was received on November 12th, but the decision to accept was subsequent to the separation. Proof that the money was deposited on December 10th, well after the separation date. The court will probably deny it, Martin said, but it will take time and money. How much for you? Another $20,000 in legal costs. For her, maybe $30,000. She does not have $30,000. Then Greg is working on contingency, expecting a percentage. If he wins, he gets a cut. He will not win, but he will try. The hearing was set for March. Judge Patricia Moreno, known for being tough on legal ploys. The process was simple. Gregory presented his case. He claimed I knew about the retirement before the separation. Claimed I planned everything to hide assets. Martin presented the counter case, showed emails, showed dates, showed that the offer had a response deadline of November 30th. Showed that I signed on the 25th, a day after the separation was official. Mr. Caldwell made a business decision, Martin argued. He had no obligation to disclose a potential future income stream to a wife from whom he was legally separated. The judge listened to both sides, asked questions, reviewed documents, and took 20 minutes. Motion denied, she said. The separation agreement was signed on November 24th. Mr. Caldwell accepted the retirement offer on November 25th. The money was deposited on December 10th. All after the legal date of separation. Mrs. Caldwell has no claim to assets acquired after this date. Legal costs will be divided equally between the parties. Gregory tried to appeal. Your Honor, the clear evidence of premeditation. Counselor, premeditation is not illegal. Mr. Caldwell acted within the law. If your client has a problem with that, she should have been more careful with her intentions. Motion denied. Case closed. We left the courthouse. Jennifer was crying. Greg was furious. This is not over, he said. Yes, it is, I replied. It is over. The divorce was finalized in April. 4 months after the deposit, 5 months after the separation. Jennifer kept the house, the Mercedes, for $110,000 in liquid assets. I kept the Audi, $176,000 in liquid assets, and $2.3 million from the retirement. Total, roughly $2.5 million for me, roughly $900,000 for her. She hated me. She sent one last message. I hope you are happy with your money. I hope it was worth losing 13 years. I replied, I did not lose 13 years. I learned a lesson worth $3 million. Trust actions, not words. She did not reply. I sold the Audi. Bought a used Tesla, more discreet, cheaper to maintain. Rented an apartment in downtown Phoenix, small, modern, with a city view. I invested 1.5 million in index funds. The S&P 500. Diversified, safe. I kept 500,000 in a high-yield account for emergencies. I used 300,000 to live, to breathe, to travel. I went to Italy in May, the Tuscany that Jennifer always wanted. I stayed 3 weeks. Ate real food, drank real wine, met real people. No one knew me there. No one knew the story. I was just Brian, an American on vacation, a 44-year-old guy trying to figure out what to do with the rest of his life. I found an art gallery in Florence, small, hidden in an alley. The owner was a 60-year-old Italian woman. She spoke English with a heavy accent. "Do you like art?" she asked. "I do not know. I never stopped to think about it." "Then stop now. Look." I looked. Really looked. Paintings by local artists, landscapes, portraits, abstracts. "What do you feel?" she asked. "I do not know." Confused. She laughed. "Good. Art should confuse. It should make you think. If it does not, it is not art, it is decoration." I bought a painting, a Tuscan landscape, green hills, blue sky. Simple, honest. It cost 800 euros. I did not need it, had nowhere to put it, but I bought it because for the first time in 18 years, I did something just because I wanted to. Not because it was an investment, not because it was practical, just because I wanted to. I returned to Phoenix in June. The painting arrived 2 weeks later. I hung it in the living room of the apartment. Every time I look at it, I remember. I remember life after betrayal, freedom after divorce, happiness after loss. 6 months after the divorce, I met someone. I was not looking, I was not interested. It just happened. Her name was Rachel, 38 years old, a civil engineer, divorced too. No drama, no games. We met in a coffee shop. She was reading a book about bridges. I asked if it was interesting. She said no. We laughed, had coffee, became friends, then more than friends. I told her the story. Everything, Jennifer, the money, the separation, the plan. "You were smart," she said. "I was vindictive. You protected yourself. That is the difference. You do not think it was wrong? She was planning to do the same to you, but you acted first. There is nothing wrong with protecting yourself." Rachel was different, direct, honest, no agendas. We did not get married. We do not live together. We just are. Together, without pressure, without expectations. It is good this way. Today, 18 months after the divorce, I am 45 years old. Unemployed, rich, happy. My investments grew. 1.5 million turned into 1.7 million. The market is good. I do not need to work. Not for money, but I am thinking about starting something. A consulting firm, maybe. Helping small businesses with operations, using 18 years of experience for something that matters. Or maybe not. Maybe I will just travel more, buy more art, spend more time with Rachel. I do not know. It is okay not to know. Jennifer sold the house in August, could not keep it. The mortgage, taxes, maintenance, it was too expensive for one person. She bought a condo in Tempe, smaller, cheaper. I heard she is dating some guy from the tennis club. Not Greg, someone new. I hope she is truly happy. I hope she learns what I learned. That money is not everything. That honesty matters. That you cannot build a life based on deceit. But she probably will not learn. Some people do not. Sometimes I think about the day I came home with that envelope, the day I heard her planning my divorce, the day everything changed. And I ask myself, what if I had not heard it? What if I had come home at the normal time? What if I had excitedly told her about the retirement? She would have smiled. She would have celebrated with me. And then in January, she would have filed the papers. She would have taken half of 3.2 million, $1.6 million. And I would have been left with 1.6 million, minus half the other assets, maybe 1.2 million in total. But because I came home early, because I heard, because I acted, I kept 2.5 million. A $1.3 million difference just because I came home 2 hours early. Timing is everything. That is my story. About the day I received $3.2 million and lost my marriage, or gained my freedom, depends on how you look at it. Comment. I think some of the most powerful moments in our lives arrive after the deepest betrayals. They come when you find the self-respect to draw a line after your trust has been broken. Protecting your future isn't an act of revenge. It's an act of profound self-care. We're all responsible for architecting our own peace, even from the wreckage of a painful past. The real victory isn't winning an argument. It's finding the quiet strength to heal and rebuild. And sometimes the greatest kindness we can offer is to ourselves by choosing a better path forward. You can choose bitterness, or you can choose to find your own version of Tuscany. I hope this reminds you that your well-being is worth defending with both wisdom and grace. Never forget that you have the power to write the next chapter, and it can be a beautiful one. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.